head over to Stanford versus TCU, a game that, maybe you didn't think that we were going to bring you this game. Well, we are. All right. We got a TCU team that has so many new pieces and a Stanford team with, look, one of CD and I's favorite coaches in all of college football, Troy Taylor, over there at Stanford, just making sneaky stuff happen left and right. So it's going to be really interesting. I think this game's going to be played in California. The spread is 9.5 that we're going to be picking at on this show. I'm ready to say, see, I kind of like this TCU team. I think better than a lot of other people like this team. But also, you're going on the road to California against a Stanford team that's offensively very dangerous. And you had a TCU team that struggled defensively last year, but I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I'm just going to go ahead and right away and say, I think I'm going to take TCU minus 9.5, but I don't feel good about it at all. I don't feel good about it at all. I mean, look, they struggled defensively last year, but you bring in Andy Avalos there as a new defensive coordinator because Gillespie there, I guess what wasn't getting done for you, right? I mean, you had a lot of talent there on the national championship team, but it wasn't the defense that got you there, or the national championship appearing team, right? I just think Stanford. Look, it's hard to bring in a ton of talent in the transfer portal when you're a team like Stanford and you're a private school. But I do think that this team is going to be better than it was last year. Absolutely. And I think another year, that system, another year, those guys, are you going to have a new quarterback? I mean, I thought Ashton Daniels was pretty good for you last year. Regardless, even if you're going to bring in, a true freshman that's absolutely lighting up camp and all that stuff. But I'm gonna take TCU minus 9.5, and I'm not gonna think about it that much more. I think there's a lot of uncertainty for me about this TCU team, but I think maybe plugging in Andy Avalos could do some things for this defense to give them enough stops to let Josh Hoover work this offense, because I think this offense has a chance to be okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to need y'all to talk me out of this one because I feel like TCU's on upset alert. All right. You got to talk me out of
You're
this.
not crazy.
You know
Go
more
for
than
it.
I do about these two teams, but here's what I see. So Stanford, what do they bring back? I think they bring back receivers that they're excited about, right? I think that's
Absolutely.
something that they have. Now, talk to me about this quarterback situation. It's true freshman. Is that what's happening?
Well, no, it's going to be Ashton
It'll be Ashton
Daniels,
Daniels.
Okay.
who played last year, who was really
Yeah.
good for them actually last year. But
And
there's, I don't know.
and Elijah Brown has looked good. So it's not that Daniels is there by default. Brown has actually looked good too. So it's a good thing for Stanford.
So he's winning the battle. Okay. So you're talking up this defense under Andy Avalos, going to be improved. But from what I understand, this is somewhat of a rebuild in the secondary, right?
Oh yeah, it's a rebuild in a lot of spots, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with
Yeah.
you, dude. I'm with
So
you.
I look at TCU heading to the West Coast to play an Atlantic Coast team. Really weird situation. First time we can say that. I mean, this is like a Thursday night game, right? It's one of the first times it's going to happen. Really weird, late game environment. I'm going to take the home underdog in this game. I'm going to say Stanford can exploit that weakness on TCU. Now, you got to talk to me on this Stanford defense. I mean, what, they have their secondary back, linebackers back, young defensive line. That's what I have in my notes. TCU offense, year two bump under Kendall Briles, maybe. I mean, talk to me about this TCU offense and talk to me about the Stanford defense, because right now I'm thinking that Stanford can get it done. I need
Listen,
help here.
I will not talk you out of that. I am gonna go Stanford to cover, but I will take TCU to win because I did take their over 7.5. So I would like to see the middle there.
You
I
got to get
also
this
took
one.
Yeah, I also took Stanford's over as well, so I feel pretty good about both these teams. But I do think there's a reason this line's under 10. I think it's I don't know, man. I think the matchups you mentioned that with what Troy Taylor can exploit offensively, especially pushing the ball down the field, maybe breaking in a new secondary for TCU, and also you're gonna miss Dominique Williams too. Dominique is going to Oklahoma, really good defensive lineman for you. But on offense for TCU, man, I mean, Josh Hoover was kind of up and down last year. And yes, he is the QB of the future there. It's not Ken Seals. Whatever that momentum was early in the season, it's not Ken Seals. Hoover's there. And listen, he's a talented kid. But again, yes, the bright spots were there. But consistency, going on the road, week one, how is it going to be? I do like the wide receiver core, especially at the top end with Williams and Eric McAllister, who comes over from Andy Avalos, obviously different side of the football, but Andy Avalos was his head coach at Boise State. He was really, really good. Good 50-50 ball guy. Williams is a star in the Big 10 or the Big 12, excuse me. Cam Cook was pretty good, and they like him in the spring. Trey Sanders is solid at running back as well. But the offensive line, a lot of transfers, and it's going to
A
be
lot
mix
of
and
them.
matching. And in week one, that's tough to bank on the road as well. Obviously, there's a lot of experience here with some lower level players, San Diego State, Louisiana Tech, right? Even Florida State with Bless Harris, but we'll see. We will see. Obviously, TCU, I think I feel pretty good about them bouncing back and winning more than 5 games last year, obviously. But I do think this could be a spot where they get tripped up on. Absolutely. And I just like the momentum Stanford has. I like what they're doing recruiting off the field, and they bring back all 5 offensive linemen, right? I feel pretty good about what they can do offensively. And then defensively, you got some guys. Sinclair's a stud, right? Bernadette's back to pair with him at the linebacker spot. Colin Wright's a legit, I think, NFL kind of body there. He could play inside or out in the secondary. It could be a fun game. It's a Friday night game too. It'll be late
Friday
night,
night.
9:30. It's ESPN. It's awesome for late night. Pac-12. It's gone, but this is just as good, man. This is just as good.
I live for these games, man. This is what I want to be watching in bed with like a bag of
Yep.
candy next to me and a beer. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, all I would say, Stanford, this defense was probably the worst Power Five defense last year, specifically in the secondary. So that's why I feel like this game, like the getting the double digits for TCU isn't crazy, but like also I totally understand what y'all are saying. Like the over and win total or the over for this game is 59.5, and I thought about taking the over. And if it gets to a shootout, like Stanford is no stranger to winning shootouts. Even last year in some close games, like they're no stranger to giving teams problems in shootouts and scoring the ball and having that unique Troy Taylor offense that just absolutely obliterated people when he was at Sacramento State. So yeah, I'm on 9.5, but I don't love it. I don't love it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's move over. Oh, you got one more
Real
point?
quick, I had to throw this in. Right, sorry, TCU fans, but last year, right, road opener, shootout game, Colorado, they lost last year, and that kind of set them on a ball rolling downhill. Obviously, injuries happened as well, but
Chandler Morris.
yeah, don't tell North Texas that they like Chandler Morris.
I
We like
love
Chandler
Chandler
Morris.
Morris. I love Chandler. Well, I love Chandler Morris on North Texas. See, so
Yeah, come on. But anyways,
uh,
I think it's interesting. I mean, we'll see. We will see. And by the way, this will be it could be 3 straight years of it's. I don't know. Never mind. That's going nowhere. But I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting.
I'm
all
way more
interesting.
excited for this one now. I can't wait. I'll be in College Station watching this one in the Airbnb. This is exciting.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to find some prize picks angles to this game for sure. Just because I feel like the offense potential is maximized in this game versus some other games that we're gonna be talking about.
Can't wait.